All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Radio Labyrinth. This is season 7, episode 19. Tim, Jeff, Steph, and Dustin, we're all with you this week. Before we get going, I got a little plug. If you're listening to this show Saturday morning, as soon as it comes out, or you're watching the video, you can get my other podcast live at 6 p.m. on WSB Radio or on the WSB Radio app you can get in any of your app stores. My guest this week, Rodney Ho from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Matt Metzger, who was the producer and director and actor in The Campaign, and also Adam Ray, who is a comedian and an actor. Most recently, you've seen him in Young Rock, playing Vince McMahon. He played Jay Leno on the Hulu series Pam and Tommy. And he was also in season 1 of Hacks, among many, many other things. He's a voice artist as well. He's at the Punchline Comedy Club, May 14th and 15th, if you want to go see him. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 Oh, yeah.
That was a big plug, more like you're used to.
No, I've been slowly working into the one with the ridges on it. And
With the one with the razors.
No, the razors, I'm not goatsy. But the razors, you got to work up to those. They're not something you can just, I don't want to start off this way because this is going to take me down a dark path. But we're going to try not to get down a dark path this week. We're not going to mention the fun caves.
Yeah, I'm not picturing you in that contraption from Seven at all right now.
I'll just say on the John Mulaney episode of Smart List, which will come out on Monday, they did a half hour of literal GH talk.
General Hospital? I didn't know they're still on the air. Luke raped Laura. She fell in love.
It's a phenomenon.
It is a phenomenon. Rick Springfield was on General Hospital. Dr. Noah Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I know my General Hospital trivia up until about 1983 or 4. And then after that, I don't know anything about it. Although John Stamos was on it.
He played Blackie.
That's right. Blackie. Oh, you know who else was on it? Demi Moore. Pre-boob job Demi Moore. Another quick plug on Tuesday, May 24th. Some or all of us will be at Atlanta Pizza and Euro in Conyers, and more on that later, but we're going to be signing up to play team trivia. So if you're interested in coming out, please come out. And Jeff will escort you to the bathroom. Anyway, we're going to leave.
I'm working that night, so I don't know if they'll let me off to play trivia.
Well, you can take a break.
You only get certain shifts.
For
that.
The tips are good. This week on the show, we are going to be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? It's Steph's Perfect Pictures. We're each picking a movie, not just Steph's, but the 4 of us are going to pick and name and defend the perfect film, the most perfect movie, not our favorite necessarily, but odds are it is, but the perfect picture, and we'll get to that later. But a little bit here at the beginning of the show, I want to talk about some of the shit that's been going on. Netflix is a joke, premieres a Bob Saget tribute and other things. Jeff, what's that all about?
They recorded a tribute for Bob Saget that's going to be airing as part of that Netflix is a joke stuff and they announced a bunch of premiere dates. They did one for Norm too. Which I think they're making some kind of documentary because he left an hour worth of material before he died, but he just recorded at home with no audience or anything. So they had like a memorial for him, and then they took like 6 or 8 people, like David Spade, Kevin Neal, and Chris Rock, a few other people, and they watched that hour, and then they interviewed them all.
Okay.
So that's going to be released also as part of that.
That's
a joke.
That sounds good.
Yeah, the saddest thing about the previous 12 months are the 4 iconic comedians that we lost. All people from our generation, all people that we loved. Of course, Norm, Donald, Gilbert Gottfried, Bob Saget, and Louis Anderson. It sucks, man. It really, really sucks. And then the thing with Gilbert is that was one of those I'm not an appointment podcast listener. There are some that I listen to, but not everything every week. But Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast was one of them. And it's a huge void. Now, I'm not saying that's the worst thing about him passing is that I'm inconvenienced and not having a podcast to listen to, but it's really a hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you look forward to every week. It's kind of, it's not like it's a vacation week. It's gone. And not to be selfish about it, but it is, that's where he lived for you was, in that podcast every week. And when it's not there, it kind of really sends it home that he's gone.
And I love the when people do podcasts about old Hollywood or they're talking with people about old Hollywood type of things. I like people who are knowledgeable about it, but they don't come at it with any sort of sociological bent, or they don't look at it through the prism of, the modern moralism. They just talk about it. And Gilbert could really go off the rails and be filthy and dirty. And the good thing about Frank, besides being a wealth of knowledge that no one can compare to, Frank kept Gilbert, on the rails and didn't let him get too far astray. You know what I mean? And they were a great balance. And so I'm hoping that Frank Santopadre continues doing that show because he's so knowledgeable, and maybe he could find, they could find guests to host it. I don't know. I really hope they work on something because it would be a shame for him to not to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you guys listen to You Must Remember This. Any of you guys ever listen to that?
I listened to the first 2 seasons. I think her first season was the best. The blondes.
Yeah.
She did the Mansfield versus Monroe.
Yeah.
That was my favorite season. I don't think it's ever been better to me anyway. I haven't enjoyed any of the rest as much as I enjoyed that first one.
I like the Mansfield.
She's doing 80s sex comedies now, right? Like
right.
And stuff.
Yeah. And the thing that, at first listening to her, I was really kind of bothered by her voice. Her enunciation. She enunciates everything, and then there's a little vocal fry. But I get past all that. And her name is Karina Longworth, by the way, and she's really knowledgeable and smart, and she knows an awful lot about all this stuff. But this teen sex comedy one, or the 80s sex comedy ones, is really, like I said about Gilbert, seen through the prism of today. And by that, I mean, she takes all these old movies and applies modern moralism, which is, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say woke or anything like that, but it's all this sociological stuff. Like, you hear the word male gaze a lot, and you know what I'm talking about. Stuff.
Yeah, I tried to listen to it. It's like she took something that was fun and silly, a topic that you should have enjoyed, and made it tedious.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable to listen to. It's like, oh wow, yet another thing. You're just gonna sit and pick apart some shit from 40 years ago. Oh, have we evolved? Big shock. Fucking people change.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about Bo Derek, Bo Derek never apologized for anything she did, nor should she have to. And then she's talking about Blue Lagoon. I get it. It was a different time, but you don't have to look through a modern lens back at the past. So, you can just talk about stuff, but I guess that's the thing.
All your movies have male gaze.
Yes, especially that movie that we stayed up late to watch at your house when I had the kids and turned it off immediately. What was that called? Making Love? Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, Jeff ran to the bathroom to take care of it. So. There is a Spinal Tap sequel in the works. I had no idea about this. What's that all about?
It's just announced today. The original cast, everyone who's left.
Even the drummer?
No, the drummer just passed away. The real drummer.
Yeah, I was gonna say they went through like 5 since then.
Yeah,
but yeah, it looks like the synopsis was Reiner's doing it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be his character is now teaching was it like woke in film class at a college?
Okay.
So he's breaking off that class to go pick back up and run a new documentary from where they left off to now.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Guest is.
Yep.
Okay.
Was he the one that was the problem?
No, I don't think any of them were the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, didn't he direct this movie? Isn't this one of his?
No, Reiner directed.
Rob Reiner did it.
So this is before Christopher Guest started doing all of his mockumentaries.
Some of the shows that we really liked a lot last year or earlier seasons, whenever they don't really go year to year anymore, are returning. Physical with Rose Byrne returns on June 3rd. I really enjoyed that. That was a show Caitlin and I could watch together because she liked it also.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Kids in the Hall, first time in, I don't know, 25 years are back together, maybe longer than that. And I did watch the first episode and I loved it and I'm excited. But I decided not to watch all of them on my phone, the screener versions on my phone. I want to watch them on my television. And they return. They'll be on Amazon Prime on May 13th. Jeff, did you watch any?
Wait and watch them when they release.
They bring back a lot of old characters right in the first episode. And it's all of them. And it's fun. And if you loved Kids in the Hall when it was on originally, you're going to love this show. New South Park movie, The Streaming Wars, comes out June 1st. I had no idea this was on. This was being made, but I guess that's the thing with South Park.
Part of that deal is they said they were going to make like 20 movies or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would like a longer season. The last season was only 6 episodes.
Yeah. I think the seasons are going to suffer in favor of these movies now.
Oh, well, they do a good job with both.
Yeah.
And Hacks returns season 2. What's already out. So we'll be talking more about that in Views or Snooze.
Jeff and I both saw Doctor Strange too, also.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just thought it should have been called Scarlet Witch. Fuck around and find out.
Can you explain that without spoiling the film?
It's because it's like the entire plot is driven by the fact that Scarlet Witch still hasn't got over her shit from the series.
Is Vision dead?
Yeah, Vision's dead. Spoiler alert.
All right.
I mean, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
really
you have to see WandaVision.
You have to watch WandaVision to understand what the hell is going on, honestly. But I thought it was great. I thought they should have called it Dr. Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Well, oh, yeah, because Sam Raimi directed it, right?
Sam Raimi directed it, and there's so many Evil Dead.
That's like Marvel Zombies. Did you ever read that comic book, Marvel Zombies?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that's what.
Did you either of you watch the What If animated?
I haven't watched it. Neil was telling me I have to watch it now.
Okay,
he said it was so good.
It's very similar. I mean, as far as the plot itself, it looks very similar to it in the previews, but I've heard the previews themselves are very deceiving as far as they're not accurate as to what's in the movie and what's in the previews.
Well, it started out action from the onset and action through the whole thing. There's no lulls. There's no time. There's no downtime. It was really good. The only thing that I would say is that this is the first movie that I have been to since Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah. And
how packed was the theater?
Not at all. You know, we had our seats reserved and we got the recliners and all that jazz. And it was one of those dine-in deals. And, you know, we went with another couple. And so I slipped out to get something to drink. And they were like, oh, they were wanting to get popcorn, but the line was long or whatever. I was like, oh, well, I'll just be a nice person and get them some popcorn. So I get one liquor drink, 2 regular bottles of Dasani, and 2 little, you know, paper bags of popcorn. $46.
Holy shit.
Wow, I was going to say $30.
$46. And I was just like, was that what?
I was saying to my friend, I was like, do you remember when you could get refreshments that didn't cost more than the movie tickets? Literally, we paid $30 for 2 tickets and then $36 for popcorn and drinks.
Unbelievable.
That fucking Putin.
But other than that, it was a very enjoyable experience.
And your buddy,
very good movie.
Spoiler alert, I guess, Bruce Campbell is in the movie.
Yep.
Was it a typical Bruce Campbell type Sam Raimi cameo, or did he have a role?
No, he just had a cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the only cameos I've seen him do where he just completely is Evil Deading it up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was glad we saw everybody in the theater that was there were all nerds. So, you know, they clapped when certain people came on.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that there were 2 things at the end, and they waited till the very final one. So, and we had a good crowd. Nobody on the phone. Everybody was just locked in.
Nobody on the phone. Anybody show up late? I hate that.
Nope.
Where'd you go with theater?
The AMC WebGen Dine-In over here by me.
In Snellville?
Mm-hmm. It's a great place to go see a movie. It really is. I've never had a bad experience there.
We have a movie grill here in Tucker. I like going there.
Yeah, they stopped bringing. You have to order your food up front. Like they used to let you order from your seat. They don't let you do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My complaint about that, and I think I've told you, is like people will order a whole freaking catch of the day seafood dinner and shit, and they're sitting beside of you eating sizzling ass fajitas and shit, and it's like, oh, come on now. I mean, it's dark. You can't even see it. Did a Band-Aid fall in it? You have no idea.
The one that we went to see that Cure movie, they make you order the food before the movie starts.
Right. Yeah. That's what they did. They'll bring it to you at your seat, but you cannot order it from the seat, which you could before. But the popcorn, when they did bring it out, and they gave you 2 cups of that oil, that butter oil to pour over it. Oh my God. Oh, I've been on now ever since Saturday, I've been on this fucking popcorn jag. I can't get enough popcorn.
Steph, you're not supposed to put that butter on your milk duds.
Put shit bacon in your coffee.
If they gave me another container, I would have slopped up the milk duds and been real sloppy.
Do you make popcorn at home? When you do you put butter on it, or do you put like margarine or fake butter?
I'll put butter on it, but when I went grocery shopping after the whole movie thing, I bought this spray that they said is like popcorn oil, but it's air powered spray. And was it good? Sure. But was it the oil? Hell no, it was not that oil. It was not nearly as good as that.
I make it with, I always cook it in oil. Usually I cook it in coconut oil. Then I put, I layer it in 2 different bowls, and I very slowly drizzle it, shake it up, and then I add the salt. I have a very anal routine when it comes to popcorn, but it does make it taste very good. I haven't had popcorn in forever.
Do you ever just like not melt the butter all the way, and then maybe you'll just get like this one big ball of popcorn where there's a clump of butter, and you're just like, oh
yeah. You can't have too much salt or butter on popcorn.
I don't think to myself, oh, why don't I just have a spoonful of butter? It's not as good.
No.
Not as good without the popcorn.
And you use that coconut oil for your plugs, too.
Get out of here with that. You need olive oil for that.
He doesn't need grease.
No, I'm naturally lubed. I have anal leakage. There's all the people that, I'm sure there's at least 6 or 7 maybe, who've never listened to this podcast but heard me plug it on the podcast.
Oh yeah, sorry, podcast fans.
Yeah,
Are we supposed to be nicing it up now that you're bringing over classy people?
Well, I don't know. We stay true to ourselves, don't we? We have to be who we are. We really, I mean, probably not as graphic as we used to be.
I'm trash though. I'm Detroit trash. You can't shine this up.
Perfect.
Perfect thing.
Perfect.
If you say so.
I say so.
Sorry, I put paper towels in my cheeks because we're going to talk about our favorite movies.
You just transformed into Marlon Brando to the dawn, right before my very eyes, just like on the show The Offer.
Yeah, get the butter. Wrong movie.
Get Richard Pryor in here.
Here's Richard Pryor. I'm gonna fuck Richard Pryor. I used to do this with grapes at my old job. Let's see. I'm gonna read some quotes. It's Don Corleone. Ready? I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen. That is not justice. Your daughter is still alive. What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? Whoever comes to you with this Barzini meeting, he's the traitor. Don't forget that. Yeah. So this week we decided to talk about STEPH'S. Number one all-time classic favorite fucking films. Then what
Not the
it's
favorite, the perfect.
the all-time fucking perfect fucking film is it. So we do it. And since I'm doing this voice, I'm gonna go first, and then you guys can go. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim Mander's favorite all-time number one best fucking perfect film.
Okay. That. Mine, of course, is The Godfather. And the reasons why I say it is the perfect American film or film of all time is because it is the ultimate American family epic. Features pre, mid, and post World War II generations. And it launched the careers of so many prominent boomer actors like Al Pacino, Robert Duvall, Diane Keaton, James Caan, Talia Shire, who was also the sister of the director, Francis Ford Coppola. The film propelled Coppola and led the way for Godfather 2 and Apocalypse Now and The Outsiders. The Outsiders was a good movie. It wasn't as gritty, except for maybe when Johnny got stabbed. That was sad. Oh, no, Johnny got burned. Johnny stabbed the Soch, and then he burned up in the church. And the guy from Hee Haw said, you shouldn't smoke, son. Anyway, the movie The Godfather revived Marlon Brando's career, and he had a prominent role for Barney Miller co-star Abe Vigoda, of course, before Barney Miller, but Abe Vigoda was great in it. People who made the film, by the way, it's Robert Evans, Paramount, Francis Ford Coppola, Mario Puzo, the author, and now Alan Ruddy, which I'll get to in a second, as the producer. They had to do a lot of ass kissing, and they had to do a lot of shenanigans to get the film made, including partnering with Joe Colombo, who was a mob boss of the Profaci / Colombo crime family in New York. He's also one of those guys who created the Italian-American Anti-Defamation League. And if you remember a lot from the 70s, which we probably don't because it's long gone, but they felt like Italians were portrayed as mafiosos or goombas and stuff like that. And so it took a mafioso goomba to try to. So you see where I'm getting at.
Didn't they create the Italian American Anti-Discrimination League or whatever to protest The Godfather?
No, it was that
was already around.
It was
they resurrected it for that.
Yeah,
okay.
Resurrected it for that. And again, it was Joe Colombo, who was one of the dons of one of the 5 families in New York. Listen, if you really want to get the real behind the scenes story of how The Godfather was made, if you're that into it, if you're that much of a dork like I am, you need to get the book Leave the Gun, Take the Cannoli, The Epic Story of the Making of The Godfather by Mark Seal. Now, I listened to the audiobook. Of course, you could do that, or you could get the book. He was on one of the final episodes of Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast. It came out in March of 2022, and it was a real fun interview. And of course, Gilbert brought up Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor. You will get more of a realistic telling of how difficult it was to get this film made than you will from The Offer, which is a fun television show, but that's really based on Al Ruddy's story, again, the producer. And a lot of it isn't chronological, which annoys me, but it's still a well-acted, fun, entertaining show to watch. It's not going to win any Emmys, but it is a good show. And that's my most perfect film.
Can I ask you, Tim, how old were you when you first saw The Godfather?
When I first watched it, I was probably 9 or 10 years old.
Did you watch it with a family member?
No, I watched it alone.
Had you heard about it from a family member, like a grandparent or somebody?
No, I knew about The Godfather because it was always being brought up, and also it was on television when I was younger than that. They showed it on television, edited, and I just remember seeing it. And when the first chance I had to see the movie, I watched it.
Did you get it at 10 years old, or did you have to see it again when you were older to really get it?
I got the basic gist of the story, but there are, of course, a lot of things that were way over my head. And I was probably in my mid-teens when I finally understood what it was about. And I still see new things when I watch it. I just watched it Friday. Watched it again. I love it. I could watch it. I could watch The Godfather maybe once a month. Probably not once a week, but once a month. And I like Godfather 2, which a lot of people say is better. And I have also seen the version where he does the supercut, where everything's in chronological order. So it starts off with Vito Corleone as a little kid in Sicily, which is from 2. But that's a different way to watch it. Godfather 3 isn't worth watching ever.
Have you watched Coda?
What's Coda?
Coda is the cut that he went back and remade Godfather 3. He put in footage that was not in the original. He re-edited the ending. He changed the way,
so he doesn't fall over in a chair and die.
Yeah, it's different, and he made it more like he wanted to. He had a lot of studio. From what I understand, studio was really pressuring him with 3. And so he changed things that he didn't want to change. And so he went back and made Coda, and it supposedly is his original intention. So if you haven't seen that,
I haven't seen that, and now I'm going to watch it. I want to know where I can find it, and I'm going to watch it.
Didn't they leave a lot of stuff out of the book from the movie?
They did. They didn't mention mafia in the movie. That word was left out to appease the mafia. And there's a whole sub story about Johnny Fontaine that's left out. There was, because that was, I believe, to appease Frank Sinatra. Johnny Fontaine, the singer, the horse's head. You're gonna act like a man. That's Johnny Fontaine. There's also a story about in Godfather 3, Andy Garcia is Sonny's illegitimate kid, right? And the mother is Lucy. You can see the mother, Lucy, in the original Godfather. She's in the scene. She's the chick that Sonny bangs. Hey, Sonny, your father's looking for you. And he's banging,
Yeah.
But the whole sub story behind that is that character, Lucy, had a big vagina. And the only person who could please her was Sonny because he had a huge penis. So there's a character that's not in the movie at all. It goes out to Hollywood with her. I believe falls in love with her, whatever, but she has one of the first labiaplasties ever. And this is all in the book, but it's not in the film.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's bizarre. But the whole, I mean, in the movie, you see his wife at the table, describing the length of Sonny's penis. You see her move her hands apart in the film, dun, 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 dun. And then this bridesmaid of Talia Shire, the Connie who's getting married, she ends up banging Sonny in one of the bedrooms of the mansion. But that whole sub story is she was looking for a guy who had a big penis so she could actually enjoy sex.
Nice.
There you go. But yeah, there's the labiaplasty. There's a whole bunch of Hollywood stuff in there that really works in the book, but wouldn't have worked in the film.
Oh, so it's purposely edited out.
It was just never shot. It wasn't part of the screenplay.
I'm not going to debate you, Tim. I'm not going to debate you.
Okay.
But I think Fargo is the most perfect movie ever made. Well, I tried to think about not just a movie that I've watched repeatedly, but that hits all of the story, the timing, the acting, just all of it from start to finish, from the opening scene where it's all snowy, and then you hear the music crescendos as the Cutlass is coming closer, and you don't know what's happening, and he's going to meet Buscemi and Stormare at the bar, and just the whole layout of what they're going to do. I mean, it's just so ominous to me, and just they're so funny. The dialogue, it's the Coens, so of course the dialogue is spot on. And the whole, obviously everybody knows the premise of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's just that when you think about the fact that it's 30 minutes before one of the main characters is even introduced.
Right.
And you don't even realize it because there's just so much going on between Buscemi and Peter Stormare, who barely says a freaking word in the entire movie.
He doesn't need to, though. You know what I mean? You're right about that. Stormare, or whatever, however you say his name, you can just feel the negative vibe coming off.
The cigarette dangling out of his lip.
Pancake house.
He's Pancake's house. Yeah, and and he said to the Coens, I think there's a typo in the script. There's no typo. It's Pancake's house. That's what you say.
Exactly. Just speak it the way it's written.
Yep.
And when he shoots that cop in front of Buscemi, and he's like, "Oh, you're a real smoothie." There's so many great lines in the movie. Jerry Lundegaard is easily one of the shittiest people. If we did a worst dads episode, Jerry Lundegaard's got to be top two or three dads there.
Oh yeah, he didn't care about his son at all.
He doesn't care about anybody.
No.
And they never really tell you, why does he need this money? Why is he faking this kidnapping? He
owes money.
He owes money, but what did he do with it? He'd gotten all those cars and he took out the loan for the cars, but the cars aren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what is he doing with the money?
Okay, no, maybe he didn't get
real good then.
I always thought he just had shitty investments. He just blew it. He just blew it on shitty investments and didn't realize he was in the hole. That's what I was always assumed.
What kind of finder's fee are you looking for?
Oh, I need the whole thing there.
No, this is my deal.
He was
Tansiera.
Yeah, he was so thoroughly robbed that year for the Academy Award. Ended up going to Cuba Gooding Jr. for what was that horrible movie, the Tom Cruise movie?
Show Me the Money.
Yeah. I mean, that was
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, Jerry Maguire. That was so disappointing that he didn't get that Oscar.
Yeah, that streak of panic when they bust the door in and he's trying to climb out the window, he's just completely lost it.
And he's screaming. Oh my God, he's screaming like a complete little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they start the movie out by saying that this movie was based on a true story.
Yeah.
And, and they lied to the cast. All of the cast thought this was a true story till they were 3 weeks into filming.
Yep.
And the Coen brothers finally told them, no, it's not a true story, but it is based on a true murder.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. This lady named Hell Craft, I believe was her name. Hell Crafts was her name in Connecticut. Her husband, Richard, he killed her and he stuffed her into a wood chipper.
Oh, God.
So that's
your buddy in the wood chipper then.
So that's where they got the idea to do it. And the very first episode of Forensics Files ever is about that murder.
The one on HBO with Dr. Bodden?
I believe so. But the wood chipper murder was the very first episode of Forensic Files.
And you got to love Frances McDormand because of the tenacity of her character and how well she played it. She's pregnant and she's sloshing around in the snow and getting to the bottom of it. And she's in such interesting scenes, like with that guy she went to high school with. You're just a super lady.
Mike Secanuga or whatever his name was. Yeah, I prefer you sit over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Radisson. Is it reasonable? And it's like the argument can be made too that her and Jerry are a lot alike. They're both put on this sweet whatever exterior where she's not sinister like Jerry, but it's the same thing. And like, yes, she's so sweet and she's so nice, but she's very calculating.
Oh yeah,
figuring you out and breaking you down, but all in the same way that Jerry is a sniveling little turd.
Oh, I think I'm gonna barf.
I always thought it was cool too, or that her and her husband, like, he decided that he was gonna let her be the cop, and he was gonna, because they both couldn't be. So
right.
He was gonna stay home and do his painting, and yeah, I thought that was a cool little switch up. That was their deal. That was their couple's deal. Was like, I'll be the cop and you be the house husband.
Yeah. And this movie that it launched Lynch's career because he's also a native Minnesotan.
Yeah.
Minnesotan, so he had the tone down or whatever. And did you guys know that this Fargo is the only movie that Bruce Campbell has ever had a part in that got a Best Picture nomination?
Wait, what part is he in?
He's on the TV when they're in the cabin. He's in an old episode of one of those soap operas, maybe Edge of Night or some crap.
I thought it was his, the one you were talking about during the interview. It was his Guiding Light or whatever.
Guiding Light, yeah.
Yeah, it was his Guiding Light cameo. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's what he's watching in the cabin.
That's hilarious. You mean Army of Darkness didn't get nominated for anything? Shocked.
But yeah, so and just the end of Fargo is great. I mean, the good people who should win, and the assholes get what's coming to them.
Yep, a wood chipper.
It would chipper, yeah. Except for
fucking fish.
and obviously this movie was so great that it spawned a really great television series, which we all love.
Yes.
And I was thinking, what do you guys, if they do another season of Fargo, why not pick up maybe 10 years after the movie ended and let's see what happened to Scotty Lundegaard?
I like that idea.
Yeah. After his mom gets killed, and then of course his dad's in jail, and maybe Jerry's just getting out of jail, and him and Scotty, are getting back together again.
He's a deranged male prostitute who keeps heads in his freezer now.
Scotty Lundegaard.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna chap your head off and go ahead and feast on your tongue.
Well, did you know Bill Pullman turned down the role to play Jerry Lundegaard?
I did not know that.
Thank God.
That would have been a very different movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go live in a cabin. Even though I'm retired, I'm gonna just keep trying to solve all these murders. I think in season 3, I'm gonna follow a serial killer around.
That'll do a good Bill Pullman.
Then we're off to Haiti. Not Haiti, Tahiti, you moron.
Ruthless People, great film. Thank you, Steph. Unless you have
You're
more.
welcome. No, that was but Fargo is my perfect movie that I can watch anytime, and it's great. Love that movie.
Mine's Pulp Fiction.
Good choice.
Pretty easy to defend.
Yeah.
Peak Tarantino.
That's a big.
He just got a bunch of money from Reservoir Dogs, so this is like his. I have a bunch of money. I can do what I want, and so he I think he makes the perfect movie in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And this is before he became kind of self-indulgent, in my opinion, anyway, with his later movies.
Yeah, I remember you and I went and saw. I believe you and I went to see the movie that came out after Pulp Fiction, which was Jackie Brown, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, it was okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted it to be more like Pulp Fiction.
I love Jackie Brown. I feel like that was one of those movies that got better. Movie. It got better if you watch it again. The second time you watched it was even better, and then.
I'm not saying he's making bad movies at all by any stretch of the imagination. He's making great fucking movies, but Pulp Fiction.
Well, his original stuff is better. Anytime he tries to work off a book or a different screenplay, that's when you don't get the full Tarantino of it.
Right. For the longest time, my favorite in order, I guess I don't really have an order, but I liked Pulp Fiction first, and Jackie Brown second, and then it was the Kill Bills. But I really think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is now my second favorite. Pulp Fiction's always going to be my favorite Tarantino.
I'm gonna agree with that, Tim.
But
I feel exactly the same way. But now I feel like the Kill Bills are my third favorite, and then Jackie Brown is my fourth.
Right.
But in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's doing this revisionist history stuff, like where he's killing Hitler and
like Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
and
which is number 5 for me. I like number 11, Inglourious Bastards.
I mean, it's still good, but
there isn't a Tarantino film I don't like. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But Pulp Fiction, resurrected careers. It made careers.
Started genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. And there were a lot of movies like that because Hollywood does that all the time. Oh, that was successful. Let's do 3 Days in the Valley or whatever that movie was called, which was good, but not as good and not even close.
It felt like a ripoff. Like while you were watching it, you were like, this is a fraud. This is not Tarantino.
And if you're flipping through the channels and Pulp Fiction comes on, no matter what part of the movie it is, you can sit there and watch the movie from there.
Especially the rape scene.
Yeah, the Gimp's got the meats.
With the music playing that they make it sound like it's something zany and fun's happening on the other side of that door.
I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
Oh, when he comes back with that sword, that's the best, man.
Yep.
Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah, nice whose motorcycle? It's not a motorcycle, it's a chopper. Who's chopper? Zed's. Who's Zed? Zed's dead.
That is him, by the way, who does Arby's. We've got the meats, right?
Bing Rames, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, he got to meet that day too.
We're gonna get medieval on his ass.
He's pretty fucking far from okay.
I'm gonna get a bunch of pipe fitting people.
Hard hitting
people. Folks. Anything more on that, Jeff?
No, I just think that's my perfect movie if I had to pick one.
You think it's better than The Last Starfighter?
I mean, it's not my all-time favorite movie, but
it would be a good thing for him to redo to the Quentin Tarantino's The Last Starfighter. Recruited by you. I can sue in the Cordiana Armada, okay?
I would give that a Pulp Fiction. I would give it a perfect movie if they didn't have the scene with him and the girl in the hotel room. And then I would like a pot belly.
Oh yeah.
And I'd get the if they cut that out, then I would say it's a perfect movie. But that's what makes it not be a perfect movie for me.
That's just the little Cindy Crawford mole that makes it perfect.
Yeah.
I think I cracked a rib. Giving me order pleasure.
It's funny, apropos to nothing, but speaking of moles, Gil's doing these lessons where Caitlin has to take him, and she takes him on her day off, which is Thursday, and the teacher that was doing these lessons was let go because for some reason, but all the kids loved this one, but the parents, other than Caitlin, didn't like him. So now there's this new female taskmaster type lady, bitchy and bossy, and Caitlin goes, and she has a mole on her face. I go, she needs you need to give her a quarter next week. And she laughed. She got it. I love it.
Go downtown and have a rat and all that thing off her face.
Thing off your face.
There's a quarter. She can have a Bowery and find a rat and gnaw that thing. Uncle Buck.
I went off the quote that you guys left from James Gunn. It says, a perfect film can be different from a favorite film or a great film. A perfect film is something that sings from start to finish with no obvious mistakes, whether they be aesthetic or structural. There is no logical lapses. So for me, I was looking for the perfectly made film.
Okay.
And for me, that film is Hot Fuzz by Edgar Wright. Is part of the Cornetto trilogy, which is just a series of 3 movies that the only interconnecting piece were the actors and the fact that they bring up a cornetto, which is a British drumstick ice cream cone. Now that's the only thing really connecting them, but Hot Fuzz is what makes it so perfect to me. It's making fun of action movies, and Edgar Wright, who of course did Shaun of the Dead, and he's started out doing the TV show Spaced. By the time he got to Hot Fuzz, it was really that Quentin Tarantino moment when he was able to have full control over everything. He had a big budget. Well, when he had all this in front of him, he was like, where should I shoot this movie? I know, I'll shoot it in my hometown. So he not only did he have all control, but he shot it in his hometown. He knew it, every square inch of the place. So the production was perfect as far as him being able to do what he wanted to do. The movie itself is written. It's a perfect written movie. And you watch it the first time and never watch it again, and you think, okay, it's a good movie. It's kind of like a Wicker Man plot, as far as a person that you're thinking there's a killer, but it turns out to be a town full of killers that all grouped together like a cult. But the good part about the movie for me is that every line in the movie are written on purpose. There's not any throwaway lines. I mean, everything they reference and mention comes up again later in the movie in some form, whether it be visually or told through the story. But the jokes are so layered, and there's no plot holes whatsoever. So anytime you're watching the movie, you're finding new things about it every time you watch it. And it's hilarious and well shot. Edgar Wright's probably one of the best editors in the business as far as how he can make these scenes that are usually mundane very exciting. And he was the perfect person to make it because he grew up on Sam Raimi movies. All the pop culture that made him who he is comes out in these movies, especially Hot Fuzz. And did you guys like it?
Oh yeah,
love Hot Fuzz. Yeah, that's a movie that like with Pulp Fiction or the other movies that we've brought up, if you're flipping through and it's on, I'm gonna watch it, no matter where it is.
The Point Break when he's shooting in the sky.
Yeah. Have you ever shot your gun in the air and gone,
And I love Shaun of the Dead. I think that's a great film, but I do think that Hot Fuzz is a better film, and I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't agree that Shaun of the Dead is not as good as Hot Fuzz. I would say Shaun of the Dead is as good, maybe better to me anyway.
Maybe.
But Hot Fuzz is a great movie.
Well, Shaun of the Dead has the tick in it.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the cast was amazing. He had you had Timothy Dalton as the titular villain through the entire movie, or the red herring through the entire movie.
Right.
But yeah, all the visual references and stuff that goes on in the background, the repeated jokes that just he just keeps going back for the same joke, and they're so subtle. All the flavoring that he puts into these movies is just, it's genius, and I can't get over it. Every time I watch it, I find something new, and I've watched it a lot.
Well, that's awesome.
But that's my perfect movie.
Those are our perfect movies. What are your perfect movies? Let us know in the comments if you're watching the YouTube channel, or if you're following us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Post up and let us know what you think your perfect film is, or if you agree or disagree with us. We'd love to hear from you. We haven't really pushed that in a long time. We'd love to get some more listener interaction. If you want to be a Radio Labyrinth Patreon member, and the benefits that come with that, like being a producer, which is $25 a month, you can go to patreon.com/Tim Andrews, and all the tiers are there. We need to talk about our good friends at Atlanta Pizza in Gyro. We love that Atlanta Pizza in Gyro is our longtime sponsor, our biggest supporter for all these years. And I want to say thank you to Mike Hall and everyone at the restaurant. You can see their new full-color menus with pictures of their food right now at the restaurant. I love saying that. They're gearing up for a busy summer. And don't forget, Team Trivia is back. We will be there on Tuesday, May 24th. It's a Tuesday night. Bring your friends, enjoy the good food and great local craft beer selection at reasonable prices. Speaking of beers, they have brand new beers in their lineup. Line Creek Brewing's First Crush IPA on tap. Three Taverns Rapturous Raspberry Sour, and Tucker Brewing's Georgia Red Lager. Both of those are in cans. And those are the most recent additions to their craft beer lineup, but they have more than that. Atlanta Pizza in Gyro loves serving their local community of Conyers, Covington, and the East Metro Atlanta area, and they want to say thank you to all their patrons for their continued support and business throughout the years. Made it through the pandemic, open for dine-in and takeout. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 9 p.m., Saturday, 12 to 9 p.m., closed on Sundays. That's Atlanta Pizza in Gyro, and you can get there from anywhere. So go there and eat.
Views. Or.
Snooze.
Yeah. Number one, Hacks. Starts this week.
That's
Views.
Views.
It's a views for everybody.
Yes.
Views.
Dustin, you in on Hacks?
Yes.
Oh, wait. We have to recall last week's real quick. What's the name of that Mike Myers show?
The Pentaverate.
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
That's funny as shit.
It's hilarious, and it's getting terrible reviews.
Of course it is. We like it.
It's
so they're going to get rid of it.
funny as hell. I finished it.
Yeah, I have a couple more to watch, but I've loved every second that I've watched.
Yeah, and it's like peak Mike Myers, like
absolutely
doing the characters and.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like an Austin Powers without Austin Powers or Dr. Evil.
Right.
Ken Jeong.
Yeah. And where else can you see Shrek beat up Bigfoot?
Right. Exactly. All right. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
All right. So we're all in on Hacks season 2, and our buddy W.O. Brown's going to have a cameo in it, and I'm not sure what he's doing, but he said he had a small part in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So watch for that. This next one I don't know about. The Essex Serpent on Apple TV. This is Claire Danes and Tom Hiddleston. Starts this week.
Does she cry in it?
A period drama.
She gets angry.
Snooze.
I know Steph likes her cry face.
I'll tell you what, I didn't feel old until I saw that preview, and Claire Danes looks like my grandmother. In that preview. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting
And she's
old.
younger than you.
Yeah, I know. That's
No
the part that freaked me out. But it looked, I mean, I will at least watch the first episode because it did look interesting, but the longer the preview went on, the more I kind of doubted it. But I'll watch the first one, so I'll view the first one.
You want to Google the actress who played Ginny Weasley.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she has more wrinkles than a Sharpay. Anyway, go ahead.
It's a views for me, at least on the first one. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I like pretty much everything Apple TV is putting out, so I'm going to give it a chance.
I'm going to snooze on that.
I figured you would. You're not a period drama guy anyway.
I do like period dramas. Never mind. I won't make a bad joke.
You refuse to watch Downton Abbey. You
Well,
should, though.
Many people have their period in that show.
Yeah, those first few seasons are really good, though.
Yes, I know. I need to watch it.
And number 3, Kids in the Hall, which I think is a views from everybody, probably.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Views.
view.
Oh, some people can watch it already.
I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing it.
You know who's in it that I loved and I didn't expect to see? The guy from the movie, what my empire is crumbling.
Oh,
Don.
Yeah, Don, the Lorne Michaels ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep, he's in it, and all the character, or his sidekick character, which was pretty much the only thing that Dave Foley did in the movie because they were fighting.
Right.
You know, when I created Stummies.
Yes. They reprise those characters as a reprise. Anyway, those characters are in it. I don't want to spoil it. The fat guy in the towel's in it.
Nice.
I don't know if the Helens are in it. We'll find out.
Cabbage Head, maybe?
Oh God, I hope so.
My pen.
Yeah,
Chicken Lady.
I hope so.
The chicken lady actually used to give me the creeps.
Yeah, it's the creepiest fucking
It's
character.
like I'd be laughing, but at the same time, ugh.
Yeah, because you could imagine, what if you ran into that? How freaky. I'm a chicken lady.
I couldn't look at any of those mechanical, like, ride-on things out in front of Kmart. I couldn't look at those the same way after I saw that.
Oh God, no. Ah! All right, cool. Views or snooze. Thank you, Jeff. Next week we will have hopefully a Radio Labyrinth presents. We're going to be speaking with Kusakan George, talking about the mini-con coming up and all sorts of fun stuff. So Kusakan, by the way, is the event we went to last year and met some people and had a good time. Of course, Ming Chen was there, and our buddy from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, whose name escapes me at this very moment. What's his name?
Dana.
Carrie Means.
Carrie Means. Frylock. No, Dana, I would have remembered because I met him before. Give me that pickle sickle. I gave him a pickle flavored popsicle once.
He's doing cons. Maybe he'll come to the next one.
Yeah, so we'll be at a Kusacon again. And what's this one again? This mini con is what? Taking place during Pride Month.
Yeah, Pride Fest in Rome, I guess, is a pretty big deal. So they're doing like a little miniature thing, and there's all kinds of events and stuff for Pride Fest. So they're going to come and talk about it.
Pretty awesome. You don't think about things like that happening in a small town in the country, but that's pretty awesome. So that'll be cool. We'll find out more about it, and that'll be out sometime next week. Guys, thank you. This was a fun show. You guys, I loved all your movie suggestions. We need to do more stuff like this.
I was thinking we could do a whole perfect series. Do a perfect television show, perfect song. Yeah, perfect horror movie.
Perfect porno.
Perfect comedy. Exactly. We can break it down into genres.
Best glory hole in Northeast.
Perfect glory hole. Perfect puss and boobs.
Perfect what?
Puss and boobs.
Nothing.
Subreddit, isn't it? Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us, and until next week, please remember to keep it
canon.